Good afternoon, colleagues, esteemed guests, speakers. Welcome to this side event. I understand some of our technology negotiators are just wrapping up, so a big thank you to you for all of your hard work. As a recovering COP negotiator, I know how hard it is. I'd still do all the negotiations for the G7 and G20 and some other forums, and it's really important work, so thank you for all you're doing. Today, we'll hear from different regions on how small catalytic technical assistance projects focused on climate technology can create meaningful impact and drive real change in advancing climate action. These are the kinds of stories we all need to hear more about. My name is Rachel McCormick, and I'm the Director General of International Affairs at Natural Resources Canada, and it's a pleasure to be with you for this very important event today. Some of you may be unfamiliar with the UNFCCC's Technology Mechanism, a dedicated body under the Climate Convention focused on the development and transfer of climate technologies. It was established alongside the more widely known financial mechanism. We hope that by the end of today's session, you'll have a clearer picture of the impactful work that is being supported by the Technology Mechanism. It consists of two entities that work hand in hand focused on climate technology: the Climate Technology Center and Network, which serves as the implementation arm, providing technical assistance and capacity building to developing countries, and the Technology Executive Committee, which addresses policy aspects of climate technology development and transfer. We have with us today Daishan Sering, the Acting Director of UNEP's Climate Change Division, which hosts the CTCN, and we are also joined by Mr. Daniel Violetti, Director of Programs at the UNFCCC Secretariat that supports the work of the Technology Executive Committee. So without a further ado, let me hand the floor to Daishan to share a few words from UNEP.
Thank you so much, Rachel. Good afternoon, distinguished guests, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. Excellency Alice Wahome, Cabinet Secretary for Ministry of Lands, Public Works, Housing and Urban Development of Kenya. Excellency Ruth Nankabirwa Sentamu, Minister of Energy Mineral Development, Uganda. Daniele Violetti, colleagues. I want to thank everyone in this room for your unwavering support and serving as an advocate, really the continued support to the UNFCCC, the Technology Mechanism. It's an honor to welcome you to this event on climate technologies impact stories from country support through this mechanism. Over the past decade, and it's the 10 years, the Technology Mechanism under your guidance, under the guidance of the parties, has contributed to fostering development transfer of technologies. There's been work done on deploying low emission climate resilience technologies, helping countries mitigate and adapt. This year, we commemorated the 10th year anniversary of the Climate Technology Center Network. At the first global stocktake, it was highlighted the existing role of cleaner technologies, looking at accelerated innovation, development, transfer of new technologies. And this is going to be critical to drive both emission reductions, climate adaptation. The urgency of action cannot be emphasized enough. And you've seen the results of the UNEP emission gap report. We need unprecedented cut in emissions, increased ambitions as countries draft the new nationally determined contributions in 2025. Since its official launch in November 2013, the CTCN has really facilitated the transfer of environmentally sound technologies. This has taken place in 370 projects across 115 countries, and the investment has been 100 million. I would like to thank all the partners who have contributed to the Climate Technology Center network. But it's important to recognize that CTCN drives progress, and this is early stage support. The center provides grants up to $250,000 to fund preliminary activities such as feasibility studies, to pilot innovative technologies like solar power drip irrigation or aquaponics. It's also designed to address specific community needs and closely implemented with national designated entities of technology in countries to ensure the national priorities at the heart of each initiative. But this is early stage. We have to look at the kind of development and transfer of technologies at scale. We're going to need impact. So while the technology mechanism is a very important aspect of technology, we're going to have to look at other means to accelerate this transformation. And I think it's really important to understand that the role of the technology mechanism is, to bring awareness on the critical issues, is to do early staging, is to do pioneering. But this is limited in scale, and this must be what really drives the broader transformation. There's been exciting negotiations ongoing. And here we have to look at the critical role of climate technology in addressing climate change. We have a distinguished group of experts, and I see many members of the CTCN Advisory Board here and members of the Technology Executive Committee, so welcome. And we will have a distinguished group of experts who will share insights on climate policies, innovative projects driving transformational change, making a difference in the lives of people and community. This climate crisis cannot be solved without technological innovations. And we do know that we have much of the innovations and the technologies in place. So we need to leverage these emerging technologies, which have immense potential to accelerate climate solutions. I thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you, Daishan, and thank you for UNEP's leadership supporting the CTCN. Now, Daniel, some words from you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. Daishan, my great pleasure to welcome you to this technology mechanism event at COP29. Let me start by referring to the words of our Executive Secretary, Simon Steele, at the opening of COP29, saying that the COP29 must be an enabling COP, a stand and deliver moment for the world. And when we talk about an enabling COP, is one that bolsters means of implementation, technology, finance, and capacity building to advance the climate agenda at all levels and across all sectors. It's also one that builds on what has been already achieved to sustain and boost impact. So today is an occasion for the global community of climate technology under the UNFCCC and Paris Agreement to celebrate and reflect on more than a decade of service and impact by the technology mechanism, in particular its implementation arm, the CTCN. And it's also an opportunity to remind ourselves of what we have already achieved. Let me first congratulate the CTCN and commend the support of its host organization and our very valued partner, UNEP, for the impressive achievements of the past decade. But also let's take the opportunity at this enabling COP to think about what remains to be done and how it could be done better at larger scale and with a faster pace. We are still far from limiting global heating to 1.5 Celsius in this century, and the business as usual will not get us there. Daishan already referred to the 2024 UNEP emission gap report, which highlights that despite the scale of the task, it remains technically possible to cut emissions in line with the 1.5 pathway. The first global stock take gives the full picture and the global community a roadmap for the much needed action and support for correcting the course towards the long terms of the Paris Agreement. So let's us follow up this roadmap. And again, going back to a quote for our Executive Secretary, get on with the job of putting the Paris Agreement fully to work. So in today's session and in every room in this conference, let us remind ourselves of the collective responsibility. The Technology Executive Committee, the CTCN, have consistently and progressively led by example on how to be ambitious, innovative, and collaborative in their individual functions and collectively as technology mechanism. Impact stories from the CTCN support to developing countries that will be discussed today are a case in point. I am positive that the CTCN work will lead to more action and more impacts on the ground. So let me conclude by simply wishing you a productive and insightful session and assured of that the UNFCCC Secretariat will continue to support every steps on your way. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And if we could have our country level representatives that are here with us today join us up on the stage if possible. you will see that we will have a very wide-ranging set of experiences and wonderful stories to tell about the success of this program. And so it's really my pleasure to kick this off right now. Let me first turn to Ms. Adriana Bonilla Vargas, the Director of Climate Change at Costa Rica's Ministry of Environment and Energy. I understand that Costa Rica, through its National Climate Technology Focal Point, has engaged a few times, if not more, with the CTCN. And most recently, you received technical assistance crucial for integrating the circular economy into local governance. You developed a step-by-step guide for local governments to adopt circular economy practices and develop circular economy roadmaps. This assistance has also catalyzed action at both the national and regional levels. Adriana, you've scaled the technical assistance from the local level to a national strategy with Costa Rica's National Circular Economy Strategy. Can you share what prompted this decision and what impacts or changes related to climate change have already been observed as a result of your work?
Thank you. First of all, thank you for this invitation. In our case, the circular economy offers a way to solve several issues. For example, our problem with the management of solid residuals or solid waste, which in many cases could receive different uses and could even turn into businesses, micro, small, and medium businesses. But we were not taking we didn't been taking advantage of it so far. But this the purpose in these tools for to implement circular economy provided us with a new environment and enable our work with local governments, guiding them to take advantage of this also with local stakeholders and also turning to the national circular economy strategy. And it's very important from the perspective of the Direction of Climate Change and the Ministry of Environment, because we think of this as also a tool to help to achieve some of our goals regarding the National Plan for Decarbonization.
Thank you so much. I think to me, it's really remarkable seeing how local actions can really drive that national engagement, delivering results. And so it's a really great example, and I look forward to hearing more about it in the Q&A and the conversation to follow. Let me now turn to Mr. Vanton Fonasani, Deputy Director of the Adaptation Division in the Department of Climate Change of Laos Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment. Similar to Costa Rica's experience, Laos benefited from 2 technical assistance projects, with the first project that developed a tool for climate vulnerability assessments in cities. I understand that following the conclusion of the project, the tool developed was fully adopted by the government and was leading to an expansion in the number of climate vulnerability assessments conducted from 6 cities in 2017, supported by the CTCN through the initial technical assistance projects, to 145 cities by 2021. So 2017 to 2021, 4 years, going from 6 to 145 cities. What caught my attention in addition to that number is that Laos then applied for another technical assistance to address specific gaps that were necessary for a larger GCF proposal. Could you tell us about how CTCN support helped Laos secure that grant, and the work with the government, and how early engagement with stakeholders and financial partners helped scale up the project?
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Vanton Ponasan from Laos. I am working for the Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment. Thank you very much. I am pleased to say how CTCN support made significant difference in our crossing and funding for ecosystem-based adaptation projects, such as to begin with the first technical assistance project was foundation. No, in 2017, support by technical assistant undertake a CT to vulnerability assessments in 6 cities in the central and the southern part of Laos. After that, we can use the information, or we can use the vulnerability map to expand to the another city. We also assessment in the whole country around the 148 cities around across the country, endorsed by the government is in 2020. Yes. In 2018, CTCN also support for the technical assistant to design the ecosystem-based adaptations and nature-based solutions, yes, to build the climate resilience in the urban area to the reduce the flood in urban. Yes. The key of the deliver of the TA is contribute to the develop the proposal and revise the proposal and submit to the Green Climate Fund in 2020. We received the fund from the Green Climate Fund, 10 million to implement the projects. Additional, the Lao government is see the important works related to the climate change adaptation and building the climate resilience. The Lao government also the in kind from the government is 1.5 million to implement the projects. Furthermore, this project is really help the people in the local community to the reduce the flood from the urban areas. We also the focus for the restoration and use planning as well to the protect the ecosystem-based adaptation. We also the restoration allow 700 hectare for restoration. Furthermore, the CTCN also support the sector, particularly develop the master plan for the biogas. This responsible for by the Ministry of Energy and Mines. CTCN also support us to the capacity building when we have the event or meeting. CTCN invite us to join the training and meeting in abroad as well. I hope the CTCN will continue to support us in the near future. Yes, thank you. It is a big.
Thank you very much. That's a great example and really different than the Costa Rican example. Let's turn to a little bit of a different perspective now. Let's turn to Mr. Ambrosio Yobanolo Deliel, representing the Technology Executive Committee. Ambrosio, I understand that the TC has recently conducted an analysis in 6 developing countries of elements of success in bringing technology priorities of developing countries closer to implementation. Could you tell us about the role and the impact of the CTCN in these implementation success stories?
Yes, thank you very much for providing the floor, for inviting the tech to this event. We're very much happy to present the outcomes and the result of this paper that focus on these 6 particular success stories coming from TNAs that got some degree of implementation. So the first element that's very important is it's not straightforward. It's not immediately that you perform your TNA, you get to a TNA, technology needs assessment. Sometimes we use the acronyms, but not everybody's aware what they mean. And then you get as an outcome a technology action plan. But you will not immediately will be able many times to convert that into immediate support. That element is very important, and in the analysis show that sometimes many years happens as the elements start to evolve into the use of different ways of support. For example, using technical assistance, readiness, project preparation to convert those plans into a fundable proposal. or using small-scale grants or domestic budgets to pilot or demonstrate some of the prioritized technologies, or using advisory services to better inform the feasibility market studies related to those plans. The role of the CTCN in this regard has been an effective actor helping countries to do this, and different capabilities. So in some cases, such as Grenada and Pakistan, the CTCN collaborated with the UNEP Copenhagen Climate Center in conducting the technology needs assessment process, using the reach and its network and the UNEP partners, playing a matchmaking role, but also playing a convening role by convening different stakeholders into this process. Also has been a player in mobilizing support through the readiness program of the ECF, such as the case in Liberia. And in Antigua and Barbuda, the technical assistant of the CTCN was the starting point, identifying certain technological priorities for the process, helping set up and start this process that later become and develop into technology action plans. So the technical assistant of the CTCN is a versatile instrument that can strengthen the implementation capacity of developing countries, and each country can use this based on their specific national circumstances. It's very important. CTCN technical assistant is demand-driven based on the needs of the developing country parties that request its services. And in this context, evidence suggests that ensuring complementarity between all these different windows of support and the national processes and the coordination inside the countries is very key for the success. These are only some of the highlights from the findings of the analysis. I would like to invite you all to have a look at these success stories and the related paper. It should be a QR code somewhere, or at least that is what I have in my speaking notes. Otherwise, well, on the tech, if you go to Google and just write TEC UNFCCC, you will get into a tech webpage. Under publications, you will find all the tech publications, and one of those publications will be the one that we are just talking about now. So you can find and you can read it, and then you can get further insights. We believe that these success stories, such as the one presented in this analysis paper, and the peer exchange, the network, knowledge hub, such as those supported by the CTCN, are useful means for enhancing the collective know-how and how technology can be implemented and bringing the technologies and the actors together in the country. Of course, the TEC remains as committed as ever to work alongside the CTCN, the both arms of the technology mechanism under the Convention and the Paris Agreement, in delivering its mandate. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak. Thanks.
Thank you so much for sharing those observations about those success stories. And I think seeing those trends is really important for all of us to hear about. Let me now turn to a CTCN technical assistance story from a small island developing state with Mr. Michael Hapio, who is the Commonwealth Climate Finance Advisor to the Solomon Islands government. Michael, the CTCN technical assistance in the Solomon Islands on the feasibility of electric buses is another good illustration of engagement with the financial mechanism. Not to mention that the outcomes of the technical assistance ultimately led to securing a $2 million GEF funding for the country's first ever electric buses. Speaking from your position at the Commonwealth Climate Finance Access Hub, can you elaborate on how early engagement from entities like yours supports projects like this? How does this engagement increase the potential for follow-up?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to speak on behalf of Solomon Islands, but also on behalf of the Climate Finance Access Hub as well. I think the most important critical, thing that is important in this whole spectrum is that the early engagement. So when we develop the, whether you call it TNA or you call it CTCN, technical assistant, based on the country priorities, we have to engage our potential donors as early as possible. For example, I'm the climate finance advisor based, Commonwealth Climate Finance Advisor based in the Solomon Islands. But when this whole process sort of develops, we're on the I'm on the face page of it. Bringing together, dialogue with the government, dialogue with stakeholders, and linking this to the priority of the countries. So only with that coordination And with the potential for climate finance, I think we could be able to, not only produce reports and papers, but really produce something that is tangible and that is also relevant to the context of the country and the community. So that's how I sort of come in. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. We're going to do one more case study before we have a special guest come and join us for some remarks, and then we'll go into a bit more of a fireside chat. So Ms. Yoonji Wang, Deputy Director, Future Energy and Environmental Technology Division from the Republic of Korea, Ministry of Science and ICT. Welcome. I understand that your department has been heavily involved in supporting countries across regions in advancing their climate response, but specifically, I'd like to ask you about the CTCN technical assistance in Serbia, which aimed to modernize the district heating system in Belgrade. This assistance is interesting because Serbia initially requested it to complement a larger GEF project by addressing a specific gap: the integration of renewable energy and waste heat sources into district energy systems. In this context, the project provided targeted support where it was needed most. I understand that this assistance was made possible through pro bono support that the Korean government provided, and that the project outcomes were further scaled up with additional ODA funding from the Korean government. Could you share more details about this project and any key achievements you'd like to share?
Okay, thank you, Rachel, for the introduction. So as mentioned, that project began as pro bono from Korea, support from Korea. So in 2018, Korea provided voluntary support for a TA project aimed at modernizing the district heating system in Belgrade, Serbia. So the goal was to explore if renewable energy and low carbon heating could be effectively added to the city's district heating system, and with the vision to expand this into a full demonstration project. So the project focused on the several key tasks. First, it involved identifying 5 priority technologies with strong potential to support renewable energy in Belgrade's heating network over next 10 to 15 years. So these technologies were carefully analyzed and assessing financial, regulatory, and technical aspects to determine their fit for Belgrade's unique needs. In addition, we worked closely with local stakeholders to ensure our technology options would be practical and beneficial for the city. So this included identifying priority locations within Belgrade for integrating renewable energy and conducting a thorough technical and financial assessment for a pilot project. A long-term investment plan was also developed to support Belgrade's renewable energy growth beyond the initial stages. So this groundwork laid the foundation for the next step, an ODA-funded project in 2021, also supported by the Korean government, which carried forward the insights and achievements of the pro bono TA. So financed by Korea, this project took the findings from the pro bono phase and focused on reducing energy use and emissions across Serbia. So it produced advanced technology for more efficient energy management. So one key feature was the use of a smart metering and monitoring system based on IoT technology, which helps track and manage energy use in real time. So it installed in 50 homes as a pilot, which helped, this system resulted in a 9% reduction in the winter heating energy consumption with a 1% drop in annual carbon emissions. Also, if expanded across Serbia, this system would reduce emissions by an estimated 420,000 tons. Additionally, with plans to install the smart meters in households across Belgrade, there is potential for a market estimated at $150 million, reaching out about 345,000 homes. So in summary, the Republic of Korea's support through pro bono TA and ODA-funded projects is making a meaningful impact. These projects highlighted how advanced technology can create cleaner, smarter energy systems, and demonstrating the valuable impact of CTCN's pro bono support from Korea. So from this experience, it's clear that CTCN provides a unique and impactful platform for innovation and collaboration between developed and developing countries. So providing pro bono support through the Korean government not only helps developing country partners access advanced climate solutions, but also drives valuable engagement between technology providers and local stakeholders. Thank you for listening.
That's very interesting. And I think what's interesting for me and stands out for me is this project is not only important because of the significant impacts it achieved, but also how different types of supports can be used to effectively complement traditional funding and advance climate technology in a really targeted way. So thank you, Yoonji, but also thank you to Korea for their support of the CTCN, particularly through the establishment of the CTCN Partnership and Liaison Office in Songdo. Now, as promised, I have it's my honor to welcome a special guest to the stage, the Honorable Dr. Ruth Nankabirwa Sentamu, Minister of Energy and Mineral Development from Uganda. Minister, thank you for joining us. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. My apologies for coming in late. I was in another pavilion. I would like to, first of all, welcome you all to this very important gathering. And I want to thank all of you for the work that you are doing. And I bring you greetings from Uganda, the Pearl of Africa, a country which is powered by only renewables. Our generation mix is comprised of 90% hydro, and the rest is from solar and wind. And we also have potential for nuclear energy. We have potential for geothermal, and I think that's why I'm here, just to thank you so much for the support that you have given us today, where we have already identified sites for geothermal development, and we have done feasibility study, and the potential is very, very great. I'd like to thank the support from CTCN, which helped us in coming up with the relevant policies that we need, because that is the foundation that keeps the investor settled, gives the investor confidence that to invest in geothermal development in Uganda, you will be backed by law. The policies are in place. We were assisted in 2015 to come up with a policy that has really helped us to come up with a plan during our energy transition plan, which was launched in Dubai last year during COP28. And the transition plan talks about the sources of energy that will be able to see Uganda transit. And geothermal is one of them. Our potential is 1,500 megawatts, at least by 2040, but we want to begin earlier than that. By 2030, we have potential to generate 450 megawatts. So this is an already package that will call for support. And it's clean, obviously, clean energy. It's reliable, and it's local available. And this can drive industrialization. This can help value addition in the fishing community. It can help on the salt mining. We have an area in southwestern Uganda where we are doing salt mining rudimentarily. But if we can exploit the geothermal potential that we have, we will see value addition. We will see cleaner methods of mining. And unlike our current reliance on hydropower, geothermal energy can be developed incrementally. You know, hydropower relies on the weather because of hydrological issues. Today, you can maximally generate. Under a drought, you may end up generating less. But with the geothermal, the more you mine, the more you generate, the more power you get. So we really want to exploit this. We have seen our brothers and sisters from Kenya. I visited them. They are doing tremendously well. Their geothermal is, their potential is almost 1 gigawatt. That's very great, and it is helping them. Kenya is a member of the Eastern African Power Pool. We are 13 countries. We are working on infrastructure, electricity infrastructure, to be able to trade. We trade 60 megawatts to Kenya. We sell 40 megawatts to Rwanda. We sell power to Tanzania. We sell power to South Sudan. We are working on an electricity transmission infrastructure to enter into DRC. And DRC is very critical. You know its potential and the challenges of insecurity. So if Uganda partners with the DRC to work on two critical infrastructures, one, the road that enters there, and then the transmission line that will be able to pull. This is going to be a 400 kV transmission line. That part of the world is going to be opened up for you people to invest. And there is a lot of mining activities that is taking place in the DRC. So with our potential with the geothermal, we will be able, under the Eastern African Power Pool, we will be able to work with South Sudan once the national grid is extended. So the CTCN's assistance has been very, very instrumental in many ways, like I've said. And I would like to encourage you really now at this stage to put in more money and more support to make sure that the gas is off the ground. And then we will be talking about the energy transition for real. But with no energy being generated, you can't transit air. You need this power, you need the infrastructure, you need affordable and cheaper financing in order for us to be able to distribute or supply affordable energy. Otherwise, people will remain with the gadgets, their houses wired, but without affording electricity. So I want to stop here by thanking you so much for having invited me to exchange greetings from Uganda and identifying the potential where you can come in. Uganda is a very warm, welcoming country, English speaking, with trainable human resource. Every year we churn out youth who are educated, but the challenge is for job creation. So with your intervention, we'll be able to industrialize, we'll be able to offer jobs for this very, very vibrant group of people, and we will be able to fight poverty. And so we shall be answering to the SDGs. Thank you so much. May God bless you.
Thank you, Minister. I want to give a moment to think about some of the words I heard or some of the themes I heard. Success, congratulations on a fully renewable grid. That's something that we're still striving for in Canada. So thank you for your leadership and congratulations on success. Potential, I think you really profiled the significant potential and then opportunities. Potential and opportunities for leading in the clean energy space, potential and opportunities for economic growth for your people, for your youth, but also for all of us that might be interested in sharing with you and investing with you and building an economy. Also heard you talk about the importance of those interconnections between countries and the grid and the infrastructure that's behind that. And so that's something I think we know is really important. So I'll echo the minister's call for us to keep working together in the CTCN, which is clearly provided so many opportunities and concrete actions on the ground that we're hearing from today. So I'm gonna give one round of questions to the people on here, and then I'm gonna see if anybody from the audience has a question that they'd like to ask. So I'm gonna ask everybody just in a bit of a speed round here. For those of you that are on the panel here, if somebody came to you, a country approaching you about working with the CTCN, or a potential donor evaluating their support, what would you say to them? And how do you think that they should engage with the CTCM for technical support? Or what would you share with them in terms of how the CTCN makes a meaningful difference? What are the things that you would tell them in terms of if they came to you to say, we're thinking of working with the CTCN, or we're thinking of giving more to the CTCN? What are the things that you would say? Maybe we'll start on this side with Costa Rica.
Thank you. I would say that in our experience, CTCN helps you to reach your goal when you need a specialized ally or partner regarding the development of key technological tools that no other partner would probably be as aware and receptive to work and design with you. For example, in our case, our experience with CTCN regarding the circular economy has helped us to develop a product which is a diagnostic for financial economic support with specific products for different stakeholders to get involved in the creating real access for businesses and allowing us to grow on a circular economy, on this circular economy approach based on the strategy you already have, but with concrete results and opportunities.
Thank you so much. Yunji, maybe from the donor side, what would you say to somebody that was thinking about getting involved?
Korea views that the climate technology as a crucial tool for addressing climate change, and we have already closely collaborated with the Technology Mechanism and CTCN since 2015. So to date, we have supported about 19 pro bono supports and welcomed the CTCN Partnership Liaison Office in Seongdo, Korea. So as I mentioned, the CTCN has developed into a unique and impactful platform over the past decade. So CTCN's TI projects go beyond simple technology transfer. They connect with local partners to ensure that solutions are specifically tailored to each country's needs. So this engagement means that domestically developed climate technologies are introduced into new environments or countries, tested in diverse settings, and refined through collaboration with international partners. So this approach not only strengthens global network, but also generates new research ideas and solutions for addressing climate change. So it creates a cycle of innovation that benefits both developing and developed countries, fostering growth in our climate technology sector. So we sincerely hope that more stakeholders will consider engaging with CTCN as Korea has, and helping it to flourish even more and reach its full potential in the years to come. Thank you.
Michael, maybe I'll turn to you. And for those of you in the room that don't know Michael, he, in addition to working, focusing on technology transfer and community resilience as the director at Idea Connection Pacific, he's also the founding board member of the Coral Triangle Initiative Conservation Trust Fund, and has held a number of academic roles. And so, Michael, I'll let you pick which hat you're going to put on when you answer this question. But what would you say to somebody that's thinking about putting forward an idea for the CTCN?
Yeah, thank you. I think CTCN sort of when it comes to the country, it's needs based according to the country, and they are there to assist collaboratively with the country. But not only that, but on a capacity level, the person working with them can apply the knowledge to other areas as well. Yeah, so like from my perspective, I'm a Commonwealth Climate Finance Advisor to the government, having worked with the TNC technical assistance team, be able to have access to other their technical input into how to apply, for example, simple prioritization. For example, how can we help government with the MCA kind of for decision making? Yeah, so it helps you in other dimensions as well. So TNC, I would recommend definitely. It's not only for country purpose perspective, but also if you really want to develop your capacity in certain areas, I recommend TNC. CTCN. Thank you.
Thanks. Van Thoon, one of your previous roles was leading some work in information and awareness. So what information and awareness would you give somebody that was thinking about engaging with the CTCN?
Yes, thank you. We talk about awareness raising is really important for our people because it's many people across the Lao province or cities still limit the knowledge for the basic knowledge on climate change. So the climate change information or awareness raising is really important for Lao. We have to capacity building, or we have to disseminate the information to across the country. The local people can access the information as well for the climate change adaptation to how to deal with the climate change impacts in my country. As you know, the Lao is the effect from climate change every years. So the capacity building is really important, and we need to enhance and expand the knowledge to the local people and across the countries. Yes, I think is.
Thank you. Ambrosio, there's a famous singer from Canada named Joni Mitchell, and she has a song that says, "I've looked at life from both sides now." So you're working on negotiations. You've looked at CTCN. You've seen it from different perspectives. What would you say to somebody if they came and asked you, why CTCN? What's important? Why should we keep going?
Very good question. I'm going to try to be brief because actually I will going to have to leave after this due to negotiation obligations. I think the first thing that's very important, and sometimes people don't take the weight of it, is that the CTCN is established under the UNFCCC. So it's not like any other provider in many regards. This is an official body established under this convention. That's the first thing. Second, is part of a mechanism that's supposed to provide technology implementation in developing countries and also policy recommendations in general about technology development and transfer. So the reason of you go to the CTCN will ensure that whatever comes out of what you're requesting will probably and very likely align with common priorities globally and common understanding globally on what is technology transfer, what are the measures that probably work best in terms of mitigation adaptation, because the CTCN is not set up alone. It's not just the CTCN, it's the CTCN in the context of the whole UNFCCC that has all these other bodies that are supporting this work and should be supporting all the work that coming out of this. So I will say that is the first major element. Maybe other details, but as I said, I'm trying to be very brief to the obligations. But yeah, that is definitely key.
Thank you very much. So it's now your turn, you in the audience, to ask your questions of the panel, people that have experienced the CTCN and its opportunities and its concrete results from different perspectives. So don't be shy. Raise your hand and just let me know if you'd like to ask a question, and we'll call on you. We have time for a couple of questions, and then we'll have a special closing as well. There's one at the back. Oh, there's microphones circulating, so just raise your hand and somebody will bring the microphone to you. So I'll give you a minute to think about things a little bit further. One of the things I found so interesting is that the wide-ranging focus. So you have everything from circular economy to transportation to biodiversity to electricity, geothermal coming in Uganda, just like the really wide breadth of projects. So maybe to the panel, I'd ask you, do you have another project in mind that you're thinking about?
In our case, we've already started working with another big issue we have in Costa Rica with support of CTCN, which is the correct management and disposal of agrochemicals and the waste related to it. Because although we have developed a strong environmental policies, traditionally in some regions in the country, we've been facing this increasing use and abuse, actually, agrochemicals. And CTCN is helping us to better understand why this is happening and how we could address this issue, which is not only environmentally, but also regarding human health dangerous, intending for a reduction in the identification of alternative options for the farmers and in general the producers to help them with the yields of their production, but reducing the use of agrochemicals, which is important because we have this new program, which is agro-sustainable production systems, which is a markup, which is a country brand for our producers, which includes a significant reduction in agrochemicals, zero deforestation regarding this set of products, agricultural products, and also reduce the reduction and eventually zero emissions for these activities. And to achieve that in our agro industry, we need to target and tackle the situation we've been facing with agrochemicals.
That's great. And I think it's a really good concrete example again of how this isn't just doing something for climate's sake, but it's also for human health and other things as well. So as we go around the panel, I'd also say if there's not another project you'd like to talk about, maybe thoughts on replicability of the lessons you've learned. So whether people have come to you and asked you about this project and bringing it somewhere else, or things that you've learned and how you've shared it, or perhaps how you might use this going forward. So either question, I'll give it a choice. So from Korea?
It's really hard for me to just maybe take some specific examples that we are going to support, but we are trying to looking at the current maybe finished TA projects to be maybe supported to the next step of the TA. So we are going to look at it and scattering the projects with maybe CTCN Secretariat, which one is the proper one. And also we will keep support TA projects every year. So we select new projects. So it's open to every country, and we don't have any preference to which sector or which kind of technology, either the mitigation or the adaptation. So yeah, just we will have maybe procedure within few months, and maybe CTCN, every country or everybody can contact me or the CTCN Secretariat in this regard. And so I am in the Ministry of Science and ICT in Republic of Korea. So my ministry is targeting the real or the tangible, the technology prosperation to other countries. So we are quite willing to support TAs or the scale-up projects in this regard. So I hope everybody have interest in this kind of works and participated in the projects or programs related to Korean governments or the CTCN. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for talking about the process. I think it's really interesting to think about that process and how donors, because we talk about how people make suggestions and put proposals in, but it's always good to think about how we all are considering the things that go in. And I think one of the interesting things across all of these examples is really, of course, how country driven it is, and that it's serving local needs and often being scaled up to a regional or national level, and really making results. So Michael, anything you would like to reflect on?
Yeah, thank you. Our first project with the CTCN is on the e-mobility. The second project we are currently working on is on the mangrove policy. There is integrated coastal zone management. See, so what we do is that from the policy, then with the involvement of the finance expert like me, we develop proposals. So from the integrated coastal zone management, or with our second project with CTCN, we develop another proposal. So that proposal now is ready for submission as well. So that's how we kind of link those together. The first one for the e-mobility, the second one. Now, although it's based on policy, but how can we test the policy? So we try to link the policy with a proposal so that if we see it's working. Yeah, so that's another example.
Great. Banton, any closing thoughts from you?
Yes, I would like to share our experience or our lesson learned from to implement the project, to develop the proposal as well. When we develop the project proposal, we consider to the align with the our national priority or our national economic development plans, to and support to the policy or regulation as well, to align with the local priority as well, to identify the climate risk or the vulnerability area, which area we have to identify, and we have to identify the adaptation option or adaptation measure, or and building the climate resilient as well. Yes, this is our goal or our vision. Yes,
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
From Canada's perspective, as a longstanding supporter of the CTCN, having provided financial backing from its inception, we've witnessed its growth and the tangible impacts of many of these projects. We're not only committed to supporting the CTCN's activities, but also involved in scaling up the outcomes of its assistance. Just last year, the outcomes of a CTCN technical assistance project in Mongolia on climate resilient livestock farming informed a concept note which was successfully leveraged to invest 7.5 million USD from our Foreign Affairs Department into furthering those results. And I'm confident that other parties will follow suit and extend their support as well. And I encourage the continued collaboration between the technology and the financial mechanism, as well as engagement in other funding entities. So join me in thanking our panelists before we go to the next stage. It is now my very clear honor to invite Kavita Sinha, Director of the Private Sector Facility from the GCF, to share some exciting news with us today. Kavita, welcome to the podium and thank you for joining us. The floor is yours.
Excellencies, distinguished members of the CTCN Advisory Board and the Technology Executive Committee, dear friends and colleagues. On behalf of the Green Climate Fund, I'm delighted and honored to join this special event in the celebration of the 10th anniversary of the CTCN. I'm also delighted, as was introduced, to make a very special announcement on behalf of the GCF on this important occasion. Before I do that, let me recognize the critical importance of the interdependence between the UNFCCC's financial mechanism, which we are, and the technology mechanisms, which the CTCN and TEC are. The mandate to support climate technology development and transfer is strongly rooted in our governing instrument and the board guidance. At the heart of our effort is to galvanize and amplify private sector investments to unlock the significant potential of technology and business model innovation. Today's announcement is a great demonstration and celebration of this joint effort between the GCF and the CTCN with our partners in Kenya. Dear colleagues, GCF is delighted to announce the approval of the project preparatory funding support to the KCB Bank Kenya Limited, a direct access entity of the GCF. For the proposed This is for the proposal titled MSME's Climate Sound Technologies for Productive Efficiency and Business Value in Kenya. The program will enable MSMEs, who contribute 40% of the GDP of the country and significantly more to the employment base, to adapt climate sound technologies to support the nationally determined contribution objectives. We hope the support from the PPF, which will result in a project, will harness the linkage strongly with the national climate strategies, including the technology needs assessment and the action plan. With PPF support, GCF and KCB will together bring a funding proposal to our board's consideration, hopefully in the near future. We anticipate the implementation of this proposal will help KCB's on-lending of blended capital across its national network to offer affordable credit products tailored explicitly for the MSMEs for the technology space. Of the program's resources, 60% will be allocated to adaptation and resilience products, and the rest will go to mitigation efforts. The designated facility will also strive to empower women, micro businesses, which contribute most significantly to the barriers that they face in access. This will benefit from 80% of the concessional credits for the CST adoption. With this innovative initiative alongside KCB, which has benefited from the productive partnership with CTCN, GCF looks forward to continuing a joint effort in working to serve the countries and their needs. Thank you for your attention.
That is truly wonderful news and highlights the unique value of partnering with the CTCN, which brings the expertise needed to navigate the often complex path to accessing larger funds. I'd now like to invite Carolyn Wanjari-Kiara from Kenya Commercial Bank to share her thoughts on how KCB envisions this collaboration evolving as they move into the next stages of project development and implementation.
Kavita Sinha, the Director of Private Sector Facility at GCF, Honorable Alice Wahome, Kenyan Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Lands, Public Works, Housing and Urban Development, Honorable Ruth Santamu, Uganda's Minister of Energy and Mineral Development, Dishen, Director of UNEP, Daniel Violetti, Senior Director of UNFCCC, all partners represented, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It is indeed exciting as we make this announcement. For us as KCB, this is very, very key, and really to appreciate the team from GCF, the team from CTN, and the UN Technology Center and Network Executive Committee that has really worked around the clock to make this funding proposal to go through. Today's theme, a collective journey towards enhancing linkage between the financial and technology mechanism, is something we at KCB Bank hold in high regard. We do recognize that connecting finance and technology is crucial for building resilience and advancing climate smart development. KCB Bank Kenya, in partnership with the UN Climate Technology Center and Network, CTCN, is pleased to have secured project preparatory funding worth US $540,000, targeting a full funding proposal submission that will unlock up to 118 million USD. Our collaboration embodies a collective vision aimed at empowering micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises, MSMEs. By integrating financial resources with technological assistance, we will tackle financing challenges and provide the necessary tools for adopting sustainable practices while safeguarding against climate risks. The initiative is set to benefit over 2 million micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises throughout Kenya, providing them with climate-friendly technologies that will enhance their production efficiency, resilience, and ability to meet market standards. Through the project, we aim to assist these enterprises in reducing greenhouse gas emissions, boosting productivity, and improving their economic sustainability in the face of climate change. Allow me to really emphasize the role that small and medium MSMEs play in our economy. In Kenya, micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises form the backbone of our economy. With over 7.4 million MSMEs across the nation, they provide jobs for nearly 15 million Kenyans across different sectors. These enterprises are essential to achieving Kenya's Vision 2030 and our bottom-up better agenda, which forms part of the government agenda. However, despite their significance, MSMEs encounter numerous challenges that hinder their growth potential. They often face difficulties in accessing affordable and timely credit, a shortage of skilled labor, and the lack of necessary certifications for larger or international markets. Furthermore, climate-related risks such as droughts, floods, and unpredictable weather patterns exacerbate their issues, especially in the rural regions. As we confront ongoing climate challenge, it is essential that we work together to cultivate a resilient, climate-smart economy. Collaborations like ours with GCF and CTN provide a pathway for sustainable advancement, enabling micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises to adapt to changes and contribute to sustainable development. Thank you, and I look forward to discussing how we can enhance these initiatives together and further. Thank you very much.
It's now my honor to welcome to the podium the Honorable Alice Wahome, Kenyan Cabinet Secretary for the Ministry of Lands, Public Works, Housing and Urban Development. Honorable Minister, it's wonderful to have you with us, and this is quite a milestone. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you very much. The name is Wahome, but outside Africa, I'm popularly known as Wahome, but it is Wahome. Alice. Thank you very much for this opportunity to make a few remarks. And may I start by thanking GCF and CTCN for having made some commitments so far. Even to have this platform and sharing with them is quite a milestone for me. I want to confirm that KCB is a stable bank working in Kenya over the last 128 years. It has quite a substantial public stake in it and also government stake. So I can vouch for KCB. For them to reach here, we have been partnering with them under my ministry, LADS, Public Works, Housing and Urban Development, and they are part of the banking institutions that we are looking at to support mortgage for affordable housing. Because under the State Department of Housing and Urban Development, which is one of the departments that I have, we obviously have a very robust affordable housing program and targeting 200,000 housing units. So to share this platform, so therefore to speak to say that they are one of the few institutions, private institutions that we have accredited to partner with other partners, and therefore they have full government support. And Wanjeri is personally known to me, Caroline Wanjeri is personally known to me through the work experience. I am delighted, therefore, to join you on this occasion where we have an opportunity to combine our efforts towards addressing the most pressing challenges of our time posed by climate change, particularly its effects on the urban poor. I came here purposely because of building climate resilience for the urban poor for purposes of this COP29. I also participated in COP28 for the same building climate resilience for the urban poor. And I see cooperation and working together between the KCB, partners like CTCN and GCF. We are following closely the GCF. We are already in partnership with UN Habitat. You know that Kenya hosts UN Habitat and UNEP. And we also looking forward to hosting a World Health Organization. And I know we are in discussion with the GCF to provide some working, maybe hosting agreement. And therefore, I am quite happy to recognize the partnership. Allow me therefore also to connect today's event with the very fruitful discussions at high-level events on building climate resilience on urban poor, which took place yesterday here in COP29, jointly hosted with the government of Azerbaijan, Africa Green Climate Finance, that is AFDAN, United Cities and local governments of Africa, Commonwealth Secretariat, and Kenya Commercial Bank, where we exchanged invaluable insights and strategies, underscoring the urgency and importance of our cause. The urban poor are often most vulnerable to climate change, yet they are a wellspring of strength, innovation, potential, technology, and our task is therefore to harness this potential, empowering communities not just to survive, but to thrive in the face of climate adversity. It therefore calls upon us to strengthen the local governments' capacities in the area of green gas emissions. And I believe then technology and innovation will play a critical role in that respect. I wish to just give a few examples of what Kenya has done so far with technology. I think we are among the leading countries or one in globally, one of the countries transferring money through mobile phone transfers through our Safaricom. It has been a great innovation, Kenyan owned, and it has worked, I think, for the last over 15 years and has worked very well. With that, we are able to transfer funds to anywhere in the country, including parts of East Africa. The recent activities or recent exercise that we have taken to transfer funds for the very vulnerable by reason of age, 60, 70 years and above. Initially, we were doing 60 and above, transfer of some small portion of money, but through the mobile transfers. And it has also been recognized as a very good effort for my country. We also now have gone into e-government services, and I think KCB will play a critical role because we have now moved most government services to about now from 200 services that we were offering to about 20,000 government services through e-service. And obviously, we need to see how that is interacting with the climate and what trainings that we need to do, because the urban poor still have vulnerabilities in terms of access to these services. Knowledge is little, and therefore we need to enhance their capacities to be able to interact with the government services. Under that, we also have the Ministry of ICT, Information, Communication and Technology, laying out a lot of fiber work. And this is an area that we can cooperate on using KCB as an institution. We also we are looking at a new model of lending. It's like a bank lending of money, but with very little, maybe just maybe administration fee to the very vulnerable through mobile, and then they simply just apply for the support by way of their phone, an application using Safaricom as the support facilitative institution. We have been able to provide that facility, obviously to avoid the very high commercial rates that are there. So what I'm saying is that my country has appreciated, Kenya has appreciated and embraced technology and innovation. Looking then now going forward is how technology can be applied to, to kind of reflect on the challenges that we are going through by way of climate change. Therefore, climate sound solutions are necessary. I think training for purposes of adaptation and resilience will be critical. My ministry, which is spearheading the construction of affordable, social and affordable houses, obviously has a lot of space, because when we talk of technology, we also need to think about affordable materials that are green, respect the green climate. And I would say that so far that is still a challenge. I think we need to be able to be better in terms of what are the materials that are coming on board, what are the emission rates, and what is the data looking like. I therefore want to say that this partnership with the CTCN is most welcome. As the Minister for Lands, Public Works, Housing and Urban Development, I can assure you that we have ready personnel, ready for training, and it would be an idea that, an achievement that we are looking forward. And KCB leading that journey, my ministry will be available to partner with you. I've listened to those who have experiences working with you. I want to applaud the experiences and the work that is ongoing, noting that we are the home of UNEP, the home of UN in Nairobi. We will be ready to partner with the CTCN as much as possible. And I'm glad that basically KCB is taking home real commitment in terms of climate financing. And therefore, GCF, you know, we are also following you on building climate resilience, and we've so far done very well. We are basically concluding on the letters of no objection, and I believe that in conclusion, we are at a good place to speak of sound and real partnership. Therefore, I wish to reiterate that we have responsibility to make a difference in our cities, serve the urban vulnerable groups, and we can only fulfill that obligation by initiating concrete, innovative knowledge transfer and knowledge sharing among ourselves. I have had within the conference, within this COP29, I think accessibility to funding, easy access to funding, the quantums, equity in terms of countries and in terms of how much has been a discussion that is most welcome. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Secretary Wahome, for profiling so many important issues, including the issue of the urban poor and training that is needed as well. To close our event, it's very absolute pleasure to introduce Mr. Christopher Elgren from the CTCN Advisory Board, representing the European Commission, to share some final thoughts on our discussions and reflect on key takeaways from our session. Christopher, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, and distinguished guests, colleagues and friends. As mentioned, my name is Christopher Olgren. I work at the European Commission and was a member of the advisory board. I've been asked to do some concluding remarks here today, and I know that a lot of people in the room are also climate technology negotiators, so I'm the only thing that is standing in between you and the possibility of grabbing something to eat before we start negotiations again at 3 o'clock, so I'll try to be brief. But really, thanks a lot to all of you for attending today's event, and especially to our speakers and participants. This has really helped us capture the very tangible impacts of the CTCN with concrete stories of transformative change from Costa Rica on circular economy, Laos on climate vulnerability assessments, from Ambrosio on the Technology Executive Committee on the process of the technology mechanism, as he has looked at life on both sides. Solomon Islands on electric buses, and Serbia with the district heating support provided by the Republic of Korea. And for Uganda on geothermal energy, and for Kenya with the collaboration with the KCB and the GCF. I think that really these examples are really not in an isolated achievement, but really they're a testament to the power of collaboration and the importance of leveraging finance for climate technologies through initiatives such as the CTCN. And from our perspective of the European Commission and the European Union as donors, so the EU and its 27 member states are the largest donor to the CTCN, having provided more than $40 million since its inception. And from our side in the Commission, we are currently, as we speak, financing 17 different technical assistance in 14 different countries. And I think one good example that was raised from Uganda on transmission lines and also connecting to the work in Kenya. So just a couple of weeks ago, we started a project in Kenya to really see, as Kenya and other African countries are expanding their electricity grids, to make sure that we are using the most updated climate technologies that are having less of a climate impact, so that really that we get a renewable energy transformation in Africa and other countries right from the very beginning. And Kenya has been particularly leading in this area. From the examples here today, I think it really shows that the journey towards a sustainable future is not always easy, but it also shows that it's not impossible if through the collaboration and us working together. And I think that's a particularly useful reminder for the negotiations that can sometimes be quite tense. And looking ahead, and I really want us to draw inspiration from the progress that has been showcased here today. The urgency of climate action, both for mitigation and adaptation, cannot be emphasized enough. And we really do need more innovative climate technologies. From our side in the European Union, we always try to stress that the amount of support that is provided is not enough, and also as part of the discussions on the new collective quantified goal, that is really one of the key topics discussed here in Azerbaijan. But let us also bear in mind that the support that is now available is also greater than it has ever been. And that is really thanks to initiatives like the CTCN. So to conclude, I really want to thank the CTCN for organizing today's event, and to Rachel for moderating our discussions. And let us leave today's event inspired, determined, and committed to amplify the impact of our work. Thank you.